Good evening, Toonkind. My name is Whis. Welcome to another 12 FPS. Hooray! I am joined by my very good buddy. If you could introduce yourself, please.
Hi everyone, and for me, good morning. It's me, Vwild. Woo!
So we've got a fun little FPS here for you today called Party Preparations. I'm gonna come right off the bat and say this. This has at least a medium angst rating, particularly at the end, possibly high. I'm bad at judging it, so say it's around there. So everyone's aware and doesn't get caught unawares by that. Okay.
Lots of fear.
Oh dear. So we are starting on the 14th of August. Today is not the 14th of August, but we couldn't play last week. It is Lil Rai Stagehand's 16th birthday. And so I'm going to ask you, Vwild, is Lin just going to let him wake up? Or is she going to do something special for his birthday?
When has this monkey ever done something by half?
This is very true. This is very true.
But it's not actually Lin that Rai has to worry about.
Oh, yeah.
You got a sentient house, my love. What do you think this hyperactive 12-year-old of a house is just gonna let him sleep in, even if Lin has said, "Sweetheart, please let the boy rest"? No. Rai, could you please make me a strength save in the morning?
Oh, great. Starting off with one of his worst stats. I love it. That is an unnatural one. That could not go better.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Let me set the scene on this place in the morning. Rai, you're asleep. You're in bed. It is nice. It is quiet. It is comfy in your giant bed because, yes, Network will not settle for halves on that bed. And you're not awake in the slightest, but the room has slowly, as dawn has come, has gotten brighter and brighter and brighter gold, and the second Network deems it absolutely perfect time for people to be waking up. Yeah, right, the entire bed, the sheets are pulled off, there is a bright, happy yelling noise, and there is a tornado around you with, "Happy birthday, little Rai!"
I'm going to do him a whiz save, but I'm going to do it at disadvantage because he was asleep. Which is just as well, because his whiz saves are really good. But anyway. 16 is still okay. So I think he probably doesn't completely, acid arrow anything. But he does yell and just sort of flops to the floor on his back and is just sort of stunned, looking up at the ceiling for a long moment before he just sort of relaxes, go, "Oh, it's Network, okay." Good morning, Nettle.
Morning, little brother. Morning, little Rai, brother of mine. Morning, happy birthday. Morning. And yeah, the room is practically slightly vibrating. The floorboards underneath him are humming. Network is very happy for him.
Oh, yeah, it's my birthday. Oh, it's my birthday. Oh, is Mum up? Is Mum up yet?
Yes. Kitchen. Right this way, kitchen. And there is just the nudge of the floorboards and the breeze. Honestly, Network full of energy. Like, Rai's seen Network full of energy. This is like child already on a mild sugar rush.
She hasn't even had any cake. Okay, so Rai is going to scramble to his feet and head for his bedroom door, and then he's going to just fling it open and yell, "Good morning!" as he runs towards the kitchen.
Oh, there is a... Morning, Rai! I'm in the kitchen! And in the kitchen, there is Lin. There is a... Hey, Rai, roll me a perception real quick as you're going in.
Mm-hmm. I can do that. 24 is pretty good.
Yeah, just let me roll something real quick. Yep. No, you've definitely got it. As you're going in, there is the hint of seeing something. You're not going to get all of it, but there is Lin sliding something underneath the table out of sight, because that's for later. You're not going to see it yet. It did seem like a glittery box of some sort or something, but it's just like, shoop, that is out of sight. Network is dealing with it. And there is Lin at the stove making pancakes.
Aww. He's going to run right over to her and just sort of give her a hug around her middle, but like from behind, so she can still use her hands at the stove.
Oh, best thing is, Lin has a tail. She turns in the grip so that her tail is wrapped around the thing to flip the pancakes, and she is giving him a big old hug right back.
I'm going to do another strength save. What is it? -2. Golly. 17. That's actually pretty good. He's not going to get his guts squeezed out.
Yeah. It's just very fluffy chinchilla hug right around him. It is warm, and she's just like, oh, look at you! Oh, bright and early. I'm happy. I thought you were going to have a lion. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised.
He's just going to sort of shrug and then glance at the ceiling.
Ah. Sweetheart, didn't we say lion? Okay, we've got to stress what a lion is, haven't we? And there is a hum, sort of a giggle from Network. She goes, yeah, I don't think we're ever going to learn that lesson, are we? All right.
That's okay. We've got lots of stuff to do, don't we? For the party?
That we do. That we peckin' do. And she just ruffles his hoodie. She goes, hey, I'm making pancakes for you because breakfast pancakes. That's where it is. I've already got the cake going on in the oven. And yes, I'm making you a cake. I'm going to make you the best pecking cake I can, because you are the best pecking son in the universe. And then we got, let's see, you wanted tea party, right?
Yes, please.
Alright. And we've already sent out all the invites before this, because you are a very smart boy and you have the handwriting for it. Which, and she looks at her hands in the sort of melodramatic, and she goes, I've not got the hands of a writer.
You could. You just have to practice a bit.
Right, I've been doing this for 21, almost 22, well actually no, I was writing when I was about 3. But basically, these hands can do chicken scratch, and that's picking it. Chicken scratch and legalese.
I don't think one of those is a handwriting.
No, you're right, it's bureaucracy.
Yeah. And he's just sort of think for a second and then shake his head and then bounce on the spot a little bit. So, can we decorate the cake together, or were you gonna do something special on it?
Adeline looks at him and goes, okay, whatever idea I had is going out the window, because you're pecking adorable and it's your cake and you're gonna be able to do whatever you want today, okay? Whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Oh!
Just say the word!
Okay. I'd like to eat pancakes first.
Pancakes! Coming up! And I'm gonna roll on Lin's end. Let's see. This is probably gonna. If it goes terribly, it'll be amusing. If it goes great, it'll go great. Hey!
Yeah, that's nice. A 22 will do.
Yes. Okay. Lin has been making pancakes off to one side. Right, the table is already set. I'm gonna go off what you got earlier for your 24 on perception. Table's already set, and Lin takes one of her hands and from behind her just baps it down on the counter, flips the pan with her tail, and the pancakes do just go flying onto the plate. It is a pretty cool little display.
Nice.
You get the feeling they probably practiced this.
Oh, very nice. He's gonna clap. And he's still bouncing. He's like, oh, I'll make tea.
Oh, making tea, that's good. If you want to use the death tea, by all means, after all, it's your birthday, but do remember it is in the different jar.
I don't like how that one tastes. I like the other one. It's sweeter.
All right. You can go with the other tea. Although, yeah, in fact, actually, yeah, it's our tea. We've made sure. Network, you've still purified it. All right. Go ahead with it, Rai. Make that tea.
Okay. And he's gonna roll over to the kettle, and I'm gonna roll a survival for making tea.
Hey!
He's good at cooking. So 27. So he makes the perfect cup of tea. One for him, one for Lin, and one for Network. I'm also going to get him to not roll, but he's also going to pour a glass of orange juice for all three of them and put those on the table too.
Aww. And Network, there is a very, very happy hum. And the walls, which are the brightest gold he's ever seen them, probably. There is just, as he nudges the tea and the pancakes are already fitting on a plate snug right next to the wall, and the orange juice, there is just, it glows even brighter for a second before Network just happily there is a little rumbling hum, and they just start eating in their sense.
Absorbing the nutrients. Oh dear. So Rai's going to sit down at the table, and he's very politely going to wait until Lin sits down too before he starts eating.
Yep. And they are both very good plates of pancakes. Like, there is a smiley face drawn on his in maple syrup. There are berries, there are fruit, there is everything you could possibly need or want with pancakes. Lin's gone all out.
No, he's excited. He's very excited. So he's just gonna kick his little stick legs and eat pancakes. He's a happy little boy. As the stack gets lower and he's eaten his fill of pancakes, he's gonna look up at Lin. So what do we have to do to get the house ready for the party?
Right. Let's see. And Lin, she had a decent plate of pancakes. This monkey is eating.
Yay!
She is fluffy in many different ways now. And she just goes, right.
Just picturing Lin doing the thing where she sticks the fork in the middle of the whole stack and eats them all at once.
You know what?
Just had that mental image and it would not go away.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say, the second Rai starts talking, Lin goes, okay, it's time to communicate, as she does that. She'd been eating them, like, decently before that. She just straight up does the whole chomp in one for the rest of them. Goes,
The chipmunk cheeks and everything. Oh.
Yeah.
I love Toons.
And she's not gonna talk with her mouth full, because that's rude. So she switches to sign for this part. Because, yes, excellent languages. And she goes, okay, you're right. Party planning is important. We've got streamers and decorations, which Network has a few in the hammer space. We've got the cake, which is cooking, which I have to keep monitoring because someone gets excited and I'm not letting them burn it. And there is a very pointed look at the wall at that front. And she goes, and then of course there's people arriving today. There'll be... What time did you have the invite for, Lil Rai?
I think about lunchtime. I don't remember. He's sort of bouncing. He's a bit excited.
Fancy lunch, fancy tea party. We love to see it. All right, so we'll have it. We'll have everything done by then. Especially seeing as we have a few more hours than I thought we would. Because I'll admit I was gonna let you sleep in as long as possible.
Well, I guess I did.
Yes, especially. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think we get lions much with Sweetheart.
Nah, that's okay. At least the sun was already up.
Yes, we did have a good talk about that. I got woken up earlier than that because Network wanted my permission to wake you up at 3 a.m.
That's a bit early.
Yes, as I clarified with them and then made sure they went back to sleep themselves.
But we still have to do all our normal chores though, right?
Oh, yes. Although I can do a few more of them if you want today. After all, birthdays are the day where you get to do whatever you want. Have fun. I mean, seriously. Holy Pekra, you're turning 16!
Do I turn 16 today or tomorrow? Am I still 15 until the end of today, or am I 16 now?
I think from what I know of birthdays, from what all taught and everyone said, is you're 16 from the stroke of midnight on your birthday, and then from thenceforth, you're the next age.
Okay, so I'm 16 now.
Yes, you are 16 pecking years old. Happy pecking birthday!
Thanks, Mom. What are we gonna have at our tea party? We're gonna have tea, but what else goes in a tea party?
Alright, so for tea parties you have fancy food. Basically any food can be made fancy if you chop it right. That's something I've learned over the years. But we've got different things that we can have. I mean, I know how to make a peckin' fantastic quiche, and you already know my pies. But you have sandwiches, and you have the tea, and you have pastries, and of course, because it's your birthday, you have peckin' cake.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna look in the cookbook, and he's gonna jump up from the chair and run over to the shelf where the Stagehands cookbook is, and he's gonna start flicking through it.
Peckin' fantastic, my wonderful boy. Have you got any of that cordial left?
Yeah. It's not bottled, but there's some in the corner over there that should be ready.
Peckin' fantastic, because I know, seriously, you make that stuff, it's peckin' fantastic. I have had letters back from old Tort. He keeps trying to get your peckin' recipe. We're not letting him.
I was going to put it in the cookbook.
It could go in our cookbook. Old Tort's not going to get hold of it. It's the one thing we can hold over his head. It's peckin' fantastic. He's never going to find it out.
He doesn't know you have a cookbook?
Oh, he knows I have a cookbook, but he's never been able to get a hold of it because I've kept it in Network. And sweetheart, and there is a very infectious grin on Lin's face. Sweetheart knows how to hide it from him. He's never gonna find it.
Well, we can write back to Grunkle Tort and say that I can make it for him whenever he wants.
Oh, you are an absolute sweet pea. He's gonna pick and love it. And everyone already loves it. We gotta send some to Haddie. I've not introduced you to your Uncle Little Haddie yet. You're gonna love him. He's absolutely picking fantastic. Tell you what, in a few days we can probably pop over there for a little bit. After all, they're gonna want to see you when you're 16 in all your picking glory.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the hub there at Toontown yet, so they probably want to show me around as well.
Indeed, it's very similar looking to the one in Villestown. I'll admit, I didn't want to go there for a while because old Tort knows how to pry on stuff. I wanted you to get introduced to the full chaos before the full chaos was focused on you. So a reunion was the best place to introduce you.
Felt like it was a bit focused on me when he picked me up.
Oh, don't worry, he does that to everyone. Quite frankly, I'm surprised he didn't straight up pick me up straight away. He did afterwards. I mean, I didn't go to the roof garden with you all at first because I kind of got tackled by a few people and squeezed the pick and life out of me.
I'm glad they put it back afterwards.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm glad we got Asclepius, the wonderful grave cleric. If I do get squeezed to death, I can just go as a ghost to him and he'll put me back.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But maybe we could be ghosts. We could go over to Halloween Town on Halloween and be ghosts.
That sounds fantastic. We'd probably give Jacques a minor heart attack on that front. But I do know some ghosts there.
Do you think we could scare them if we don't tell them we're coming?
Oh, I think we could. You know what? Well, Kara probably would have it. Tell you what, at some stage we're going to scare the peck out of them for fun, and we're going to get Kara and Network in on it, because I'm sure Network can persuade Kara.
Hopefully. That sounds funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're adding it to the list of shenanigans. We're adding it to the list of shenanigans.
Good. I just rolled an investigation for Rai, and he got a nat 20.
Oh, what's he investigating?
He was looking through the cookbook for ideas of things to have at his tea party. I had something in mind, but so he's going to point out a recipe that is labelled difficult for French macarons.
Oh boy.
And another recipe which is labelled easy, which is fairy bread. And he's gonna look at the fairy bread picture in the cookbook and get really excited because it's colourful and it's made out of sprinkles. I was like, that sounds really tasty. And then he's still flipping through it. He's like got his thumb in to bookmark that page and flipping through it. And then he looks at the macarons and he points and goes, "Oh, I've had these."
Oh ho ho! Oh, I know those. They're highly flammable. They're great. Okay. I think we could make those. What's the worst that could happen?
He's just sort of doing a really big thing. He's like, you know that like pending thought bubble?
Yes. Lynn's also just for a second gazed into the far distance of why the pick did I just say? How hard can it be? Why the plot?
Oh dear. Well, he's gonna show between the two and go, I know I've had these before and they were really nice, so those could be nice at the tea party. And these, and he's flipping over to the fairy bread, these look easy and yummy.
And if you make them with enough sprinkles, they have a really nice pick and crunch to them.
And can I get a history from Lin?
You most certainly can. What is your history score, Lin? And I've got to make sure because I've got 2 pages open, so there we go. Let's see. 13!
Easy. When Rai shows you the recipe page for the fairy bread, you know immediately which stagehand put that one in there for you. It was Hadrian put that one in there because it's something that he can do.
Aww! Rai, you immediately see Lin is fluffy. And it's the soft fluff. She is like, basically, this entire day she's going to be probably slightly pom-pom.
Nothing wrong with that.
But she's just like, alright. So, if Hattie can make it, so can we. And afterwards, yes, I know how to do stuff in Braille so that it looks like food, and so I'm going to draw him a picture after this for it. Alright. Are you ready, my Rai?
Yeah, let's make some snacks.
Let's make some peckin' snacks for a mother peckin' face!
Yay!
And she's thrown, like super dramatic.
Rai's copying her.
I like to imagine both of these two are doing the dramatic thing, and Network just does the super dramatic breeze for them both. So their hair and their hoodies flowing in the breeze. They're indoors. Nothing's happening.
Oh, these dorks. I love them.
So while we're doing this, sweetheart, so you don't, get super excited and try and burn the pick in oven down to pick, why don't you get started on the streamers? And there is a small sound of an explosion downstairs.
Wow, that's efficient, I guess.
Yes, we might... Oh, God. Sweetheart has glitter. Hey, Rai, what's your fondness of glitter?
It's fine.
Good, we're gonna have it coating the entire house for a couple of days.
Okay. I'll roll in it, then I can be as shiny as Nettle.
Oh, don't do that. You're going to be considered one of their shinies. They're going to try and keep you forever. Well, actually, we're always going to keep you forever, but at the same time.
He's just standing there and he's just sort of blushing and giggling. He's like having so much fun and they haven't even done anything yet.
Indeed. Okay, and Lydia's gonna bustle him over to the counter and she goes, okay, read out the recipe, we'll get what we need. Macarons can't be that hard. I mean, think Teal'd like them. But okay, tell me, what do we need, my darling son?
Okay, we need icing sugar and almond flour and butter. And hold on, this one's in really bad handwriting.
Yeah, that does make sense, bless.
And he's just going to read them out because I can't be bothered looking up a recipe.
Lynn also does mention that some of the parts are in Braille. If you need any help on those, let me know. I know a bit of it. Haddie is blind, so...
Oh, okay. I don't think I've met a blind person before.
It's easy enough. I mean, you met quite a few people who had, disabilities when we went to the hub. I mean, little Mao is deaf, save her hearing aids. Old Tor is going blind, bless him. He's still got impeccable sight sometimes. If he's up close, he can see you really pecking well. But everyone, all of us stagehands, we're all unique. And as she's saying this, she's getting out the ingredients. She's going, we're all part of a community that look after each other. So blindness is just another aspect of that.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. They sound nice.
Oh, Haddie is the best. He's my hub cousin. So we've been at the same one with Toontown since we were babies.
Oh. Cool.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna love him. He's fantastic. I was gonna say adorable. He is adorable, but that's because he's my little cousin. And as Lynn's saying this, she's getting out the almond flour from the bottom shelf because she's finally learnt. She's finally cottoned on. It's totally going to get accidentally put back on the top shelf later on.
Oh, well. Oh, almond flour would be even worse because it's slightly grittier than regular wheat flour. Oh, that's a tomorrow problem. This is a different problem today. Should we roll survival to see how well they do at their baking?
Yes.
I'm going to say that they need to get at least 5 between the two of them to do fairy bread.
Okay, let's see. What is your survival, Lynn? Alright. That's a 12. That's an 18!
Okay, cool. So they definitely nail the fairy bread. That's no problems at all. I mean, it's white bread and margarine and hundreds and thousands. It's like, you can't get easier than fairy bread. I love fairy bread.
I think the reason why Lynn is slightly lower is she's letting Rai do it because this is his thing, and she's also stopping Sweetheart from nudging all the hundreds and thousands onto it.
It does occur to me that it may not be called hundreds and thousands everywhere. Sprinkles!
Hundreds and thousands, confetti sparkles, whatever you want to call it. They are here, and they are being used, and they are tasty.
They are.
And there was also the very distinctive crunch, 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 crunch from Lynn at one point. Just
gotta taste it as you cook. But between the two of them, so there's a 12 and an 18, so that's 30? Can I count?
Mm-hmm.
30 between the two of them? I reckon that's enough to make some fairly okay French macarons, I think, because they're doing it together. Like, I've made French macarons. It's more fiddly than hard, so I reckon they've got it. I mean, with a +4 and a +8, I reckon they've got some pretty good macarons happening.
Indeed.
What flavour would Rai make them? He would make them... They're pink. He put pink food colouring in them and then filled them with jam. I reckon that's what he did.
Oh, good berry jam or just normal jam?
Normal jam. The good berry jam didn't work.
Yes. Because of all the incidents, of course.
Yeah.
Stagehands do make their own jam. I mean, every now and then Rai would have come in where Lin's hands are just stained berry colour because she made it, and then she got hungry.
I just pictured him like spraying it with the hose. They don't use a hose because he's got create water which he uses, but I just oh god.
It's create water in the shape of a hose.
My imagination is going wild right now. This is great.
Fantastic, we love it. And she goes, okay. And Lin is just okay. So we put them in the oven, right?
Yeah, these ones go in the oven, but it's not very long. It looks like it's only like 15 minutes or something.
Oh, you know what's great about that?
Hmm?
And there is a ding! She goes, the cake's done. So we put these in while the cake comes out, and if you want, we can decorate it now, or we can wait for it to cool. Whatever you want, kiddo.
Doesn't the icing fall off if it's too hot?
Kiddo, I'm not gonna lie. Have you ever met Network? Basically, anything happens when it's sweetheart.
Good point. It just says that in your cookbook, that's all.
You're right. Because now that recipe, and she does point it out, and she goes, the macarons, I think Little Mao helps with that one, and we do make it out of the hub oven, which doesn't have a genius loci, so...
No.
Tell you what, why don't we take it out, see what Sweetheart thinks, and then we can decide whether we want to, decorate now, or we could always take a look at the streamers and stuff downstairs, whatever you want.
Okay, let's do that.
Alright, and in a semi-fluid motion, because no, I'm not going to make Lin roll survival to see whether she burns her hands or not, because we're letting the monkey have happy time. This monkey is a well-oiled machine at this one.
Mm-hmm.
The oven is open, the macarons are in, and the cake is coming out. Yes, she has actually got on baking gloves, because safety first. Got to teach your kids safety is important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What flavour cake did Lin make?
Oh, what does Rai like? Because I think she'd go with... She's talked to Rai before about what he likes, and she's not going to make it chili flavour for obvious reasons.
Oh, like, you could make it vanilla, chocolate, whatever, and he'd be happy with it, to be quite honest.
You know what? I think she's made it marble. I think she's made a vanilla and chocolate marble cake.
Nice.
Because she knows how to make that. She woke up early today because she wanted Rai to have a good day, and so she made it in the early hours of the morning. That's another thing he would have got on his perception. The house smells of freshly baked cake.
Nice. Very nice. Rai is bouncing in place. He's super excited because this is his first birthday cake ever.
And he can roll insight if he likes.
Sure, we can do that. 12.
Yeah, it's 12 gets most of it. He can see full on as Lin looks over at him. There is love and there is pride and there is warmth, and he gets the idea that Lin is doing her level best to make this the best birthday possible because she gets how important it is. As she just wants him to have the happiest time ever, and she's going to do everything in her power to make that possible.
No. Cute.
Yes.
Oh man.
Alright.
He's so excited.
Alright, so we've got I do make my own icing here. I have been making it over the past couple of days. We've also got different food dyes which are safe. I keep them in the kitchen so that Sweetheart doesn't try and hoard them all. I know you like them. You're not allowed to have them all. Anyway, you pick whatever colours you want. We've got cookie cutters, as you know, so you can have whatever you want on your cake.
Oh, do you want to roll an insight on him?
Yes, I do. Now, what is your insight, Lin? It is 18!
Nice.
She knows her boy!
She knows her boy. So he is very excited. But he's also now having a little bit of a choice paralysis problem. Like, he's not really decorated a birthday cake before. Like, I imagine he and Lin have baked cakes together and you know, done icing and what have you, and all that sort of stuff. But like, this is his birthday cake. This is like a big deal. And so he's just sort of like, he's putting his weight from one foot to the other and bouncing, and he's like just looking at the cake and stimming slightly with his hands. He's just like can't process.
No. Alright. Let's see. Now, we could have numbers on it because it's your 16th birthday. Or, I know it's a stagehand tradition. We can do this if you want. We normally put stars on a cake when it's a birthday.
Can I have stars on my cake?
You can have any type of star you want, my little Rai. How does 16 sound? 16 stars?
Yeah, 16 stars. What? Oh, I gotta go find a cookie cutter. And he's gonna run over to the cookie cutter drawer, and I'm gonna roll him another investigation to find the star cookie cutter.
Hey! 30-20!
Not too bad. This is good. We've moved beyond all the sixes that he got when he first started hanging out with Lin. I'm going to say he finds at least 3 different star cookie cutters, like one with 5 points and one with like 6 points or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've got at least 3 in my cookie cutter drawer.
I'm gonna say there's one where it has sort of like a wavy edge to it, and it is almost nudged into his hand of Network giving him, because of that dirty 20, Network has helped him find the best stars in the entire collection, because she has a small hoard, but there is just like, he gets the honoured ones.
I'm going to roll him a perception to see if he notices it. What's his perception? I think he's too excited to really pay that much attention. Like, he kind of notices in the back of his mind that he was guided towards these particular cookie cutters, but he doesn't click.
Mm-hmm. Does he show them as he comes back to Lin?
Oh, yeah. He just sort of trots over and he just holds them out and goes, I found them!
And there is a look on Lin's face of joy, and then she focuses on the 5 point, which is just like, it looks fancy. This is a fancy cookie cutter, and she just smiles even more. And she just goes, oh, they are going to be mother-picking fantastic.
Can we make the stars out of yellow icing?
Sure! Alright, and we can also have other icing on this. I mean, it's a marble cake, so they normally have a bit on show, but we can have top base. We could have it in black to reflect you, my fabulous little Rai, or red for your scarf, or whatever you want.
Let's make it black, because then it's like my Stagehands shirt.
Oh, you pickin' genius. Alright, let's pickin' do it!
Yay!
And Lin is full on just... I'm just gonna roll very quickly on this one. Please roll nicely.
Oh no! It's a hemispace, okay.
Pulls out a nice knife. Like, out of nowhere there is now a knife, and she's just gonna get to work on making the circle shape for going on top of the cake as the black background. Where's she got the knife from? It's a giant cheese knife. She's using it for the icing. It's gonna work.
I mean, it sounds like it's fondant icing, so yeah, cheese knife will absolutely work. Oh dear. What do you roll for artsy stuff?
Performance?
Yeah, we could do performance.
And I'm gonna say Rai has advantage because Network, there have been many sounds of explosions and streamer noises. You know that cartoonish noise of streamers and stuff?
Yes.
There has been that from downstairs.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
And Network will help upstairs.
Alright. It's a 12. I'll do this with advantage anyway. It's a 12.
It's a 12. We like 12.
We like 12. Oh dear. So I reckon that it looks great. He's got 16 styles on there, and there a few of them are a little bit wonky, like the fondant got stretched slightly as he was putting them down, but so it's not, 5-star patisserie quality, but
No,
whatever.
16 star. What are you talking about?
16 stars, yes. I walked right into that.
Yes, you did, and I'm very proud.
Oh dear, oh dear. But he looks proud of himself. He's got a cake with 16 stars on it, and he's excited.
And Lin just, as she's looking at it as well, just gives him a side hug, and she goes, "Oh, isn't that a sight?"
I like it. It's pretty.
It is, oh, it is picking fantastic. Oh, alright, hey, sweetheart, we got the camera? Alright, we're gonna take a picture, in fact, okay, we're gonna take pictures, are you okay with pictures when we're on the roof with it and stuff? Because, look at you, we're putting this in the photo album.
No, we can take pictures, yeah.
Alright. And Lin has just, there is the little smush of her face of, this is my child, it's their child's birthday! And there is kind of the thump noise of something appearing on the counter, as she just goes, yeah, okay, thank you for finding the camera, sweetheart. In fact, okay, so we got, downstairs has got party stuff. I think the roof will also probably have party stuff as well. Your garden's gonna be fine, I assure you. Network knows not to do anything to the carrots.
They just glance at the ceiling.
Yes, there is a mutual glance at the ceiling, and there is a golden outline for a second that looks a little bit like a halo.
Fooling no one, Network. Oh, bless.
You're not fooling anyone, sweetheart. You are my wonderful, wonderful child. I know you're a chaotic picnic.
Does Nettle have a swear name?
Not technically, seeing as Old Tort doesn't entirely understand genius loci. He thinks the house is possessed, but also that I might have an overactive imagination, or that I just have a very weird breeze problem in here. He's very confused, bless him.
Oh, okay.
Also, I've learned that Sweetheart knows many, many swear. Don't teach him any of them. And there is a full-on insistence, waggle of Lin's finger at the ceiling, as all of a sudden she realised there was almost a deep breath from Network, as Network was about to say something.
Yeah, and Rai understands Network speech, so if Network swears in front of him, he'll understand it.
Yes, and Lin is going to look down at Rai and go, she learned how to, everything that happened that little while ago with, and she gestures at the walls and goes, beige, but Network's picked up some new swear words.
Oh.
Real kind words.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a reason why we have a swear jar downstairs for the real swears. Unfortunately, it's picking useless now. She's learned all of them.
Oh. So, all the ones that Uncle Ogan likes?
Yep. And there is actually a hummed fuck.
Oh my
God. There's Lin now blushing, just pointing at the ceiling, going, yes, sweetheart. Oh God, you got your ambulata form. Don't say it around anyone. It's a special word.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no's right. If Sweetheart tries... Yeah, Sweetheart, please don't teach Rai. Fuck! I know you know that word. Don't teach him it! Why not follow your little sibling's example?
I'm dying. Oh my god. That's so funny. Oh dear.
Right, whatever happens, do not follow your little sibling's example. We are a pecking household here.
Okay, I can do that, Mom.
That's my darling, wonderful pecking son. Oh god, okay, I think we're all slightly dying now from the giggles. Alright, now let's see.
Can we go look at the decorations?
That we most certainly can. Alright, and she's just like full on done the slightly dramatic pose as she slides towards the door. She's like, okay, now we got downstairs, which is where people will be coming through, and then the garden. Alright, so let's see how everything's going.
And he just does the little preparation taps of his feet and then runs towards the door.
And I'm not gonna lie, I did roll a performance off the thing because I wanted to see how Network would do with their explosion of chaos.
Oh bless.
And let's see, I'm just gonna show it in the roll zone because I did it before this. It was a nat 20 of Network is utter chaos, but it somehow looks absolutely amazing.
Stunning. Dedicated party venues don't look this good.
Indeed. There is just, as Rai comes out, as he's on the mezzanine, there is just all of a sudden, like, little red balloons just fly up past him.
Wonderful. I love that. Oh, and he does too. He's just sort of, his eye is wide, round, and very blue, and he's looking at all like the balloons and the confetti and the streamers, and he's just squealing. He's so excited.
Oh, I am so happy that you're happy. Alright, so let's see. We've got party decorations. Whee! Yes, I know you like your party horns, Network. Alright, and we've got the tea, and I've got the fancy teapot. We can use the fancy teapot. I only have it on special occasions. Actually, yeah, we got 2 teapots. Do you think we're going to need 2 teapots?
Maybe. We invited a lot of people.
Okay, because there's 2. There's one that's got this really nice fancy, it's got flowers, it's got roses on it, and the other one's blue and has calligraphy of the word peck on it. Personally, I love it. We can use that one. If you think it's not appropriate, we can always switch out and have the other one.
We could have both.
Oh, picking fantastic. Bo's gonna pick and skin me if, like, oh god. I'm glad, sweetheart, I'm glad that Tiffy can't understand you. I'm pretty sure I'm already gonna be on thin ice with what I've said around that kid.
Well,
Alright.
Tiffy doesn't talk out loud, so they toot toot.
Yes, and it is a picking fantastic toot toot. But, okay, so we got, coming to the party, right, we got Teal.
No.
Alright, we got Bo and Tiffy. Have you met Bo yet, probably? Alright, so you're gonna meet her. She's nice. She's a bit stern, but she's picking fantastic. And all of her partners. I've not met all of her partners, but I know she has many back in Villestown. We should have dropped by. We should have picked and dropped by. I would have brought flowers.
Hey.
Anyway, so we got Bo, Tiffy, and then you wanted Aba and Fee, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then of course you got me, you got Sweetheart. Alright, and we got Kate, we got and you can kind of see Lin is going slightly into her own head of, you can see that where she normally has note cards out loud, she's now kind of doing note cards in her head to figure out everything that needs doing and everything that's been done.
Fantastic. I'm going to roll a perception for Rai. Can I get one from Lin and Network as well, please?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Now let's see, what is...
gosh, Rai didn't notice.
Perception from Lin. I always forget your perception, sweetheart. I'm sorry. Okay. That's a 7. That's a 10 from Lin. God damn it, Lin. What are you doing? That is a 20 from sweetheart.
Perfect. So Network is going to notice there is mail that has been put through the mail slot at around about this time.
Oh! Mail for us! Shinies for us! Oh, come see! And there is Lin finally snapping out of it going, do not eat the peckin' mail!
You only eat bills.
Yes, you only eat bills, especially as most of our energy comes from your furnace and from connections and from the Woodworld. That Woodworld has lasted a long time. I'm really happy with it. Seriously, we should get more of them. And Lin is just coming down the stairs at this point.
Rai is making that face, like he doesn't have a mouth, but you know that face that's kind of like the, here, I'll type it, it kind of looks like this, that kind of face. He doesn't have a mouth, so he can't do that, but if he had a mouth, he'd be doing that.
Also, I just realised something amusing. If Lin is she's started going down the stairs, she stops and goes, what the peck am I doing? Comes back up the stairs, nods to Rai, and then jumps over the banister.
Wonderful. I love it. Oh dear. Rai is going to do the same, actually. He's going to cast jump so he can land nicely.
Hey!
But he aims for the cushion, which is still there.
Yes, it is a wide cushion. It's so that if anything ever happens, because Lin did just used to throw herself like full on belly flop over the edge. Even before there was a cushion, Network has very much instilled that they must have a cushion there for the big reason.
Oh dear. No, he aims for the cushion. And then he's going to head for the door to see what mail they've got. And there is, in particular, one envelope that has a return address of March and Hugh. And the other one has Riz Ildazil's name on it.
Aww. Lin is slightly melting at that because her little Rai's made connections.
So they're both addressed to Rai rather than to Lin. And so he's going to pick them up and look them over, and he's going to open each one, and he reads the first one and he sort of deflates a little bit, and then he opens the second one and deflates a little bit more.
Oh? Everything alright, Rai?
He holds up the first one. It's from March and Hugh. Hugh's not well, and March is going to stay home to look after him, so they're not going to be able to come.
Oh.
And this one's from Rez. They've got works that they can't get out of, so they can't come either.
Oh, bless. Okay. And Lin is gonna give him a little side hug. I'm sorry they can't make it. Tell you what, though. I know where they all live, as you do as well. How about tomorrow or the day after we go over there? It's not your birthday, but it still might be fun?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. No, that's fine. It means that we can save them some cake.
Oh yes, we're gonna save them an excellent slice of cake. And they do still love you. The fact that they're not able to make it, they've still sent the cards over, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Better than just not showing up, I suppose.
Indeed. And we're still gonna have a peckin' load of fun, alright?
Mm-hmm.
And after all, there are also other things that you do on birthdays, like, say, presents.
Presents?
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not gonna lie, me and Sweetheart have made a few things. I may have even myself asked for some help from Jacques on my gift, but, you're not getting them until the party itself, alright?
His eyes are sparkly.
There is the mysterious look from Lin of, I have a secret and I can't wait for you to be in on it, but I'm not gonna tell you yet because I'm a little shit. And she's just doing that.
Oh, dear.
Just. But I think you're gonna like them. It's. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I want to spoil it, but I'm not going to because you are my darling son and you deserve surprises.
He's gonna stick the mail that he got into his scarf and pop it in his hammer space, and then he's just gonna give Lin a bit of a squeeze. What else happens at a birthday party? So you get the food and presents and cake. Anything else?
Let's see. Well, there's also cards. I've got a small explosion of cards from the Stagehands. And Alda, your sort of uncle, he's my mentor, brother, sort of. You're going to meet him one day. I'll introduce you. And then you got pictures, you got games, and you got candles. Candles!
Candles? Oh, candles for the cake.
Yes! Holy peck. Peck! You kind of see that Lynn is all of a sudden just like slapped her forehead on that one and she goes, we don't keep candles in the house because of Sweetheart. Okay, we've still got time. Ryan, what do you want to do? Because I'm not going to lie, there is a store nearby. I can dash over there and get some candles for you. I know they do good candles there. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that should be fine. And he just sort of looks over at the clock on the wall and then thinks about it. And then he does that little, one finger in the air, aha, kind of pose. And like, I'll finish all of my chores while you're gone so that it's all done by the time the party starts.
Oh, my absolutely pecking genius child. Okay, now let's see. What was on your chore list today? Let's see. Gardening? Was gardening on it today?
I have to water all of the flower boxes.
Yes. And you need to also supervise Sweetheart because otherwise she tries to overwater everything. Mm-hmm. She's learned not to do it on the roses. Your talk about that when you were reading together has really helped on that front. I'm very...
Mm-hmm. Nettle's a fast learner.
Oh, that she is. Happy helper! Yes, please! And there is just that very happy hum from Network. And she goes, I think she wants to be in ambulata form later on for the... So you're going to have her like this for a little while, but we'll see how that goes. But, okay, I will be gone like half an hour tops, alright?
Okay.
I'll be a speedy monkey.
And you're very speedy. I'll be sure to have it all done by the time you get back.
That's my darling son. Alright, I'll be back soon. And she just gives him a little kiss on the forehead and she's like, alright, be good, have fun, and I will be right pecking back. And she's backing away towards the door, grabbing her coat and her hat. She's got a little purse. She's shoving that in her pocket. She's going to be like, I'll be back!
Okay. See you soon.
I love you! And she just full on closes. You can actually see the start of pumpkin orange sparks as she lights up, and she just, you can feel the door close, and then there is a noom!
And she's gone.
Yes.
And this is where I'm going to take over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Lin goes to the store and she buys the very fancy candles that she had in mind. And you stepped outside the door of the shop. The door closes with its little bell going ding, ling, ling. And then you get a feeling that you've only felt a few times. But this is an SOS from Network coming across your link. Something bad has happened.
And what that feels like is there is Lin. She is actually under her breath humming the happy birthday song as that door. And then right behind her heart there is a feeling of ice. and a feeling of panic and confusion and worry that coils around her ribs and makes it hard to breathe for a second, and she knows intrinsically that's Network, that's her sweetheart. And she put the candles in her pocket before as she was leaving, and good thing, because if they were in her hand, they would be on the floor in this moment as she runs. There is an immediate expeditious retreat that is very different to the way that she came here, as she goes onto all fours and just pelts back as fast as she can. Because, no. Not today. Not today. Not... Whatever the pick this is, please not today. Not now.
As you come down the street towards the Stagehands Requiem, the building at a glance looks okay. But you can hear at quite a distance Network's panicked humming. And as you get close, I'm not going to make you roll for it, you can see two things on the footpath at the bottom step towards the front door. One of them is a golden amulet with a strange symbol on the front. And the other is a stick about 8 inches long with one fork and one tiny little leaf.
Oh no. No. By the weave, by the gods, no, please. Not my son. Not my picking son. And she's just running at that. She's glancing around. She's trying to see anything. What the pick happened?
There doesn't seem to be any sign of a struggle or anything. And all you can get from Network immediately is that Rai is gone. And that's when you get the to be continued. And we pick this up again tomorrow.
I think there is only one thing the last thing that happens as Lin gets there. Lin screams. And it was one of panic and terror and partial grief. Just gods. And to be continued.
To be continued. So keep an eye out, everybody, for the game tomorrow. Bring him home. I've been Whis. And this has been Toonkind D&D. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.